juxtaposition
comes from the Latin juxta, meaning very near, and the French position, meaning place. In some, it literally translates to place together.
In video editing, juxtaposition refers to the technique of placing two or more different shoots or scenes next to each other to create a contrast, evoke a certain emotion, or suggest a relationship between the elements.
Juxtaposition in mise-en-scène, sound, and editing can inform or even create larger contrasting themes, like good and evil, or rich and poor.
By showing these contrasting or complementary images back to back, the editor can add layers of meaning that aren't explicitly stated, allowing the viewer to interpret the connection themselves.
Like placing a character in a different world, or forcing polar opposite characters to work together.
What's all this we stuff? They just want the rabbit.
The problem is that I need to explain juxtaposition in a context of a Formula 1 edit. Fortunately, an artificial intelligence helped me.
For instance, in a Formula 1 documentary, you might juxtapose a shot of a driver celebrating victory with another shot of a rival team struggling in the pits. This contrast would emphasize the highs and lows of the race, creating an emotional narrative without using words.
Perfect, thank you. Using the example ChatGPT give us in a Formula 1 context, I have a very visual example in my Formula 1 documentary, Origins of the Silver War. This is the scene.
Nico Rosberg has been lapped, and is that his signal to say, no, we can't carry on?
Okay, let's park it. Stop, switch off.
Yeah, toughest day of the year for me, that one. I didn't have 4th gear, 6th gear, like the upshift pedal was double shifting every time, no DRS, no hybrid power. Very disappointed. Need to try and get over it now and then move forward.
Lewis Hamilton wins around the Marina Bay circuit. He takes the lead in the championship.
Great job, Lewis, great job. That was a really difficult race. Well done.
Fantastic job this weekend, guys. Thank you so much for all your hard work. It's starting to really pay off. Thank you.
Meanwhile, Nico Rosberg is struggling in the pits after his retirement due to electrical issue in his Mercedes car. Immediately you can see Lewis Hamilton winning that same race in the same car in the Mercedes and celebrating the victory. That contrast between the struggles and sadness of Nico and the happiness of Lewis Hamilton winning, this is exactly what juxtaposition is. This example is very good, but it's basic, it's clearly visible. And in this video, I'm gonna reveal some of my best juxtaposition video editing techniques that I use. I have 4 different examples from different edits I was making in the past. I'm gonna explain you step by step every single one, and in that way your level of editing and your creativity will rise up massively. Juxtaposition. Let's start with the first example of juxtaposition in one of my Formula 1 edits. The edit I made some years ago about the French driver Pierre Gasly. The name of the edit is Right and Path. In this edit, I was making a summary of the Pierre Gasly's career in Formula 1 from the beginning until the moment he finally wins for the first time in Formula 1 in the 2020 Italian Grand Prix. During this summary, there is a very sad moment for Pierre Gasly, a moment where he lost a very good friend in racing, Antoine Hubert. In 2019, in the same weekend Pierre was racing at the Spa-Francorchamps circuit during the Belgian Grand Prix, his friend Antoine Hubert in a Formula 2 race lost his life in a very dramatic and tragic accident that he suffered in Eau Rouge. The problem when I was making the edit was that I didn't want to show the accident because it's very scary and it's not nice to see. Let me show you how I use juxtaposition in this edit to avoid to show images from that accident, but at the same time to let know to the viewer that a driver, in this case Antoine Hubert, passed away.
Helmut called me and just told me the news during the summer break when the decision was taken.
Ay, ay, ay.
Where is the juxtaposition here? The juxtaposition is in the sounds and the images. This gunshot and the verse, the sound of the verse, this is the juxtaposition moment. Why? Let me explain you. The contrast, it's about the sounds. The sound of the verse is also a metaphor of life, because birds that are flying are animals. And when you are seeing an animal moving, that is a representation of life. By the other hand, the gunshot means the opposite to the life concept. It represents the death, because you are using a gun to kill someone, a human being or animals. If you are hunting, it's sad, unfortunately, but it happened in our world. Using this gunshot first, and then you can see birds flying. This contrast, using the verse sounds and the gunshot sound, can be interpreted by the viewer as opposite concepts, mixing the life that is represented in the verse with the death concept that is represented in the gunshot. That creates a juxtaposition montage in this edit. There are different types of juxtaposition, and the example you have seen right now is named like juxtaposition in sound design, using different sounds as a way to create a contrast between two scenes. Before to continue, your like, your thumbs up in this video is extremely important. Thank you so much. The next example of juxtaposition in one of my Formula 1 edits is the one I made in the Max Verstappen edit that I named Awaken, a summary of the first seasons in Formula 1 of the Dutch driver Max Verstappen until 2019, the season where he did an extraordinary campaign in Red Bull Racing. The moment of juxtaposition is this one.
Verstappen gets an awful start. I never really had someone I looked up to. He has into turn 3.
Did you realize? It's difficult, guys. Don't worry, I will explain you. There is a moment in that edit where I place one phrase that said Max Verstappen in an interview.
I never really had someone I looked up to.
I never had someone to look up to. He's talking about that he had not idols in racing to inspire in the dream he had to reach Formula 1. Immediately after that phrase, you can listen another different phrase that is saying the commentator.
He has into turn 3.
He has into turn 3. The juxtaposition is the contrast between two phrases that looks the opposite. Max Verstappen says, I've never had, and the commentator is saying, he has. These phrases are separate, not connection between them, because in the phrase that I picked from the commentator's voice, I picked from a very different context. The commentator was talking about that he has the possibility to overtake that car in turn 3, but mixing these two phrases next to each other looks that the commentator is saying that yes, he has someone to look up to.
I never really had someone I looked up to. He has into turn 3.
This way of using juxtaposition in an edit or a video is known as juxtaposition in dialogue. You can use different phrases that can contrast in the same phrase. The example number 3 of juxtaposition in one of my Formula 1 edits is about the Fernando Alonso edit that I made in 2018, known as Magic Fernando Alonso. This edit was made by me in the moment Fernando Alonso announced his retirement from Formula 1 for the first time in 2018. One of the most important parts of the Fernando Alonso's career is the fights he had against his biggest rival in Formula 1, Lewis Hamilton. And in that context is where I've used juxtaposition to explain a very interesting montage that I made during that edit. The moment where I've used juxtaposition is this one. To understand this example, it's absolutely necessary I will explain you something. Fernando, after some years in Ferrari, he decided to move to a new project, McLaren Honda. Fernando Alonso was convinced that he would be able to be champion again, combining McLaren and the Honda engines. But the reality was absolutely the opposite. The McLaren Honda was a terrible car. The engine was terrible, no power at all, a lot of issues. He had to retire the car multiple times. And this is the juxtaposition moment, guys, where you can see rain and at the background is Lewis Hamilton. In those years where Fernando was suffering in McLaren, in those same years you can see Lewis Hamilton winning with his Mercedes car year by year. When you are seeing the rain at the background and Lewis Hamilton winning the championships, rain normally is interpreted by people in terms of emotions as something sad. Also represent darkness, sadness, or depression in terms of feelings of the human being. I'm mixing this concept with the images of Lewis Hamilton winning world championships with the rain at the background. Winning in Formula 1 in everything in life means happiness, means success. The juxtaposition montage is that contrast between the rain, that means darkness, sadness, or depression, with the happiness you can feel when you are winning a world championship, like Lewis Hamilton. For Fernando Alonso, Hamilton winning world championships means rain, means sadness, means depression. Why? Just because Fernando Alonso knows that one of the Formula 1 drivers that is at the same level than him is Lewis Hamilton. And at that moment, Fernando Alonso had not the car to fight with Lewis Hamilton for championships. Meanwhile, Lewis Hamilton at that moment was winning and winning and winning. So for Fernando Alonso, Hamilton winning world championships means darkness, sadness, means depression for Fernando. That's why I use this rain concept to mix them with Lewis Hamilton winning Formula 1 World Championships. In this montage, the images at the same time. It is not next to each other. It's like a fusion between the rain falling down and Lewis Hamilton winning, but also works as juxtaposition because you are seeing the two concepts in the same image that are absolutely different. This is juxtaposition in montage, another way of using this technique in your Formula 1 videos. Before to show you the fourth and last example that is the most spectacular, make sure you are subscribed to the channel, guys, because in this channel I'm sharing a lot of tips, tricks and lessons about video editing techniques that you can use in your Formula 1 videos and edits. Move on to the fourth and final juxtaposition example. I made it in my Formula 1 edit Green Light Sebastian Vettel. I made this edit in 2021. In the moment, Sebastian Vettel, 4 times Formula 1 world champion with Red Bull Racing, decides to leave Ferrari after 6 fantastic years where he tried to be champion, he was not able to do, but he was very happy. He had very happy moments with the Ferrari family. It was for him very difficult to leave Ferrari because he had a family in that moment there. He moved to Aston Martin in 2021. And this is what you have to know to understand one of the most amazing juxtaposition moments I've created ever in a Formula 1 video. And now you will see the juxtaposition moment reflecting that change from Ferrari to Aston Martin in one single image using juxtaposition.
Forza Ferrari, ragazzi!
It's extremely complex, guys. Probably you did not realize of the juxtaposition moment. Don't worry, I will explain you. It's about the horse statue, this one, that is representing Ferrari. Why? Because the logotype of Ferrari is a horse that is named as Cavallino Rampante. To understand the juxtaposition moment and the contrast, you have to look at the colors of the screen, in the horse and also at the background. Ferrari is the most successful team in history. It's the team where everyone wants to drive at least 1 year in his career as a racing driver. And one of the main characteristics of Ferrari is the color, red color of their cars. Color that identify Aston Martin is the green color, you know? The statue have like a trace of green on one side of his face. And at the background you can see fire in a room that is red. In the color design world, the red and the green color are opposite in the color wheel. That means the juxtaposition montage is about the colors of the scene, you know? The horse statue with the green trace on the face of the horse is contrasting with the red fire at the background, that at the same time is representing Ferrari. Fire is representing Ferrari because Ferrari characteristic color is red. So it's another way to say that the horse statue that represents Ferrari is turning into green because it's the next team Sebastian will join. And the team is Aston Martin, that is identified with a green color. And at the background is the fire, that is the red, that is representing his whole team Ferrari. Using these opposite colors is a juxtaposition montage that is saying that Sebastian Vettel is leaving Ferrari to become in an Aston Martin driver using opposite colors. What have you seen is known as juxtaposition in colors, using the contrast of the colors to evoke different emotions, representing different themes of the Sebastian Vettel's career, as you saw in the previous example. I really hope you understood this technique that is absolutely amazing, but there is another technique that is extremely important for your Formula 1 edits, and the technique is known as visual storytelling. In this video, I explain all you need to know. Thank you so much for watching this video, and we'll see you in the next one that will be spectacular. Bye bye.